Hollywood is a place where they'll pay you $1,000 for a kiss and 50 cents for your soul. I know, because I turned down the first offer often enough, and I held out for the 50 cents. Marilyn Monroe.
High-level summoners and conjurers within the military-industrial extraterrestrial complex use the promise of opportunities to amass material wealth and public notoriety to entice and to lure some Rh Negative Celestial Starseeds into entering into blood covenants in order to seize control of their sovereignty through the process of believing in the sanctioning of blood sacrifice and other ritualistic bonds as acts of reverence and devout fulfillment of obligation. When an individual enters into a blood covenant through involvement and participation in devotional and ritual observances or other spiritual forms of indoctrination, this seals the individual's aura with a sigil or servitude binding rights that stakes a claim of ownership by regressive extraterrestrial groups and other non-corporeal entities onto that individual. That person's free will has now been taken over as they have been deceived into believing that the interdimensional beings that they have sworn allegiance to are all-powerful gods, when in supreme actuality, these entities are only pretending for the purpose of taking possession over their victims, spinning a web of lies so that those of our tribe would seek to please and serve them instead of embracing their own divinity. These Rh negatives that enter into blood covenants with these low vibrational entities are repaid with pain, suffering, and eventually murder. Some Rh Negative Celestial Starseeds have been hand-selected for privileged education, training, and guidance so that they will function as vectors for the military-industrial extraterrestrial complex's hostile agenda. They are placed in strategic positions in society as entertainers, sports figures, world leaders, and others both famous and infamous to influence mankind, as well as to manufacture public consent to push humanity in a direction that can be cultivated to the needs of the ruling elite. It is important to point out that in many cases, these opportunities to enter into blood covenants are not forced upon the starseed. Whether the reasons be that they are motivated by greed, money, and power to work on the behalf of our enemies, or they are having their pain manipulated by their controllers, these particular Rh negative individuals have willingly decided to make these blood covenant deals of their own volition.
Is this what people refer to as selling one's soul?
Yes, this is what they are referring to. Although the term selling one's soul is not an accurate description of what a blood covenant entails, because it's not possible for anyone to literally sell their soul. Now, what they have done is allow their infatuation with materialism to lead them to becoming contractually indebted to uncaring beings despoiling this context of existence, whose gross and immoral perversions transcend life and death. These compromised starseeds own absolutely nothing, as every one of their material possessions that they are under the impression of owning are merely being loaned to them for a temporary period of time that is allotted. The luxurious lifestyle that they are provided with will be taken away from them when it is decided that they and their services are no longer needed. These Rh negatives that have made blood covenant agreements walk on eggshells, knowing that at any moment they themselves are due for termination.
This explains why we often see pictures of celebrities looking haggard, weary, and sleepless.
This is true. The mainstream media spins it as drug addiction and substance abuse. But these individuals can appear worn down because they are truly unhappy with the realization of what they have done, and they are having difficulty coping emotionally with the decision that they have made to forego their mission to help bring this wicked system to an end, instead choosing to align themselves with sorcerous beings credited with causing death and suffering in this third-dimensional realm, participating in abominable, inhuman rituals required of them in order to attain personal desires, and what they had once believed would be a life of certainty and freedom from doubt. Another ghastly truth is that many of these compromised celestial starseeds feel a sense of unbridled terror of going to sleep for fear of having their consciousness transferred into a replicated clone body and forced to endure acts of violence and torture for the amusement of power-hungry, sadistic madmen, flamboyant opportunists, and obsessive, murderous psychotics. Blood sacrifices, other occult rituals, and magic are embedded in the culture of this world. These Rh negative celebrities and prominent individuals are blackmailed, extorted, and are placed under mind control and other spells that forbid them from speaking out publicly about their experiences. Whenever victims attempt to disclose any of these atrocities, they are pressured into remaining silent by being forced to endure unimaginable horrors through a process of intense sexual abuse rituals that include bestiality and necrophilia as forms of humiliation, degradation, punishment, and revenge.
How did this practice of making blood covenants begin, and is it possible for these soul contract agreements to be passed down from one generation to the next?
Many ancestral bloodlines have ancient histories of blood covenants made with regressive species, believing that these otherworldly entities were gods. People were taught to believe that killing animals and people in large amounts would be pleasing to these gods, who would in turn bless them and help their families to be prosperous and protected. This is a cruel ruse of deception and lies from these bloodthirsty predators. These suffering souls, having been slaughtered as a sacrificial offering to these gods, were the energetic power source harnessed to retain the violent religious belief system architecture. One of the main systems of planetary control is religious fundamental programming. It is these programs that are manipulated to condition the planetary field and the collective human mind into believing that these are truths and revelations from a monotheistic deity. The energetic results were vampiric to our entire tribe of Rh Negative Celestial Starseeds, as well as the rest of the cohabitants here on our sister Earth. Despite presenting the illusion that Rh negatives are being promoted by placing some of us in positions of prominence in the world today, the truth is that the military-industrial extraterrestrial complex seeks to either exterminate Rh negatives through genetic modification and genocide, or to control us through covert militarized operations, as well as preventing us from multiplying, growing, and forming synergetic alliances to use our divine gifts and psychokinetic special abilities to dismantle this artificial intelligence technological grid which overlays our sister Earth, working against this phenomena from occurring in order to maintain their agenda of promoting a system of speciesism and genetic war on this world and onto other worlds which they seek to colonize, as they only favor corrupted starseeds who sympathize with their agenda and maintain the belief systems of this educational artificial reality training habitat that promote racial superiority, religious fanaticism, genetic discrimination, and social and financial hierarchy. We ourselves are the goddesses and gods that mankind has searched lifetimes for. Our enemies have attempted to subvert these omniversal principles of truth in various ways, such as through deceiving members of our tribe to make blood covenants with false gods. Much of this is reinforced by attempting to superimpose energetic burdens on our bloodlines through family construct associates' religious beliefs that are passed down to newly born star children who grow into adulthood not understanding what exactly is transpiring within this third dimensional realm. This is just one way of how blood covenants are passed down to future generations of offspring without the starseed individual even being aware of this blood covenant arrangement. After breaking the oath by threatening to reveal to the public the truth about what she knew regarding the United States' direct involvement with regressive extraterrestrial species, our sister Marilyn was murdered as a blood sacrifice in order to silence her. Sometimes it is only after one's travel to the realm of the ancestors following their assassinations that Rh Negative Celestial Starseeds then remember that we did not volunteer to incarnate on this planet for money, status, fame, nor power. In this system of speciesism and genetic war, there are more important issues in front of us. We Rh negatives are beings already celebrated throughout the cosmos for our higher compassionate tendencies, choosing to travel here for the benefit of our sister Earth. As our crusade radically raises the consciousness of this world, we must be strategically aware of how it also nurtures an extreme type of lower vibrational entities that rise to our unspoken challenge to impede our movements by controlling us through blood covenants, disrupting our progress as a star tribe in achieving true success and abundance associated with fulfilling our assignment to change the power structure and dynamic of this world for the betterment of our species and all sentient beings. Through our pure intention and a tremendous amount of teamwork, together, we can accomplish the goal of clearing all multi-generational blood covenants that were made. As annihilation waves of regressive and mindless entities attempt to allure us with the notion of widespread reputation and wealth in exchange for our divine souls as they make an effort to wash over the entire galaxy, let us remember that there is absolutely nothing that they can offer we Rh negatives when our greatness is immeasurable. For they have never faced eminent beings such as us that wield the absolute power of the stars at our fingertips.